Good morning, everybody, and Merry Christmas. I'm going to do a little bit of a different video. Taking it easy today. It's Christmas Eve. I've been working a lot this week to try to get on top of everybody's projects. It's been a very busy year. So today, going to take it a little bit easier, and what we're going to do is a bit of a sort of walkthrough video on me starting a project from scratch. This one's just going to be for fun. We're going to try to go ahead and drop sort of, I guess, Santa's workshop, Santa's house. So it'll be quick and dirty for the most part, but hopefully kind of a fun thing to see. I'll try not to take too long on it. Again, trying to take it a bit easier today to enjoy Christmas with the family, but let's dive right in and take a look. So I was looking around for a little bit, trying to find some good buildings to maybe try to copy a bit or do something similar, and this was a pretty cool little place that I've never seen before, and it's a place out in Finland, and they have this full Santa Claus village in Rovaniemi, Finland. I don't know how to pronounce that, but actually, just for fun, I can show you about what this looks like. So some quick pictures here. Pretty neat place. Maybe not the best link there, but anyways, I know it'll be a little small on the screen, but you can kind of get the idea. There's a good picture. Again, smaller, but pretty darn neat. So we're gonna go ahead and try to see if we can kind of sketch it up. I'll take you through that process a little bit, and we'll see if my software can deal with funky roofs. I don't think we'll have much of an issue, but let's dive in. So I use, as many of you know, I use Chief Architect for the work I do. Let's go ahead and start up a new plan real quick. I'm gonna make it so you can see. Actually, so I'm using an ultra-wide monitor, which makes it a little bit trickier when recording here, because I want to make sure that those not using one of these can see just fine. So we're recording in the same aspect ratio as a normal TV or monitor. So I'm just shrinking everything down. Okay. All right, so we've got a blank plan here. The first thing I'm gonna do, and what I normally do with a project like this, if we're building onto an existing home or something, is I do a little bit of research on the county assessor's office like I've shown in prior videos, and take some measurements to make sure we've got some rough dimensions that are close. So I looked up this place already on Google Maps. We've got the top view. Here's that middle pointy roof. So we'll take some rough measurements here on Google. So we'll just take this. I think it was like 100 feet probably. Yeah, 95 feet. Let's go ahead and check this little bit. This one is 77, we'll call it 70, yeah, 75 feet, why not? So 75 on one side, about 100 on the other. The back side, let's see, how are we looking? Back side is about 60 feet. And what's that middle part here? Say around 20? Oh, off. About 35 or so. And now, of course, this is showing just the overhang, so I try to come in a little bit off of those. Overhangs are usually 1 to 2 feet, depending on how deep they are. These ones are pretty big. They're probably 2 to 3 feet right there. Anyways, we'll call it 30 feet, the middle box. So we're going to go ahead and first draw kind of that middle box, and then have these come off from it. Now, these angles are a little funky. Not the easiest thing to build, especially to draw. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually have this part come straight and be parallel with the middle piece. So it'll come straight out, and then we'll give this one a 45 kick still. We'll have this be the front. So we'll go ahead and draw that middle piece here. Have it be a 30-foot. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, we're going to pull up our walls here. Always takes a sec the first time I open this. But we're going to pull up our wall definitions, and let's make this I think they were like a log cabin-like anyways. Yeah. So we'll do like a log cabin for our walls. Let's go ahead and switch this up a little bit then. We'll just keep it a 6-inch wall, that's fine. Let's see what Chief can do for us here. Look up log. Some log siding, perfect. Let's just grab that one. Then we're just going to go ahead and delete the exterior bits here, just to make it simple. Okay, so this gives us sort of a log wall, and I'll show you here in 3D what that looks like. So let me just draw that little 30 by 30. And now I'm not going to deal with multiple floors either. I'm going to kind of cheat, because we're just going to do this. We're going to try to do this a little bit quick. If I was trying to make this very exact, it would take all day or longer, so we'll keep it a little simple. Okay, cool. So we've got a little log walled space, a little 30 by 30 area. So now looking at that picture again, and I did pull up, I have a little video as well we can kind of slide through if I need to see it a little bit closer. But for now, let's see, what kind of heights are we looking at roughly? Here we go. So the front, it looks like these are probably, that's like, I don't know, an 8-foot door, a good 18-inch transom window above or so. So we'll call it probably 10 foot here in the middle. I'm assuming about a 12-foot ceiling in that middle part. Based on that, now the dimensions are a little off. Let's see how the, you know what, this is actually a better gauge. It is probably 8 foot. You know what, yeah, we'll call it 12 foot in the middle, another 12 foot above. Probably around a 25 plus foot height until the top of that wall. So I'm going to act as if it's one big room in the middle. I'll show you what I mean as I get working here a little bit more. It also isn't a square here. Am I looking at the same building? Nope, that's a different building. I wonder if it's that back part. I'm not looking very close, am I? See, that's what we're looking for right there. Okay. Well, we'll still plan on that same height. We'll just reference more like this picture and kind of mix them together. We're not going to make it exact. We'll just make it close. It'll be kind of fun. All right, we'll still plan on about 25 feet or so right there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this. Let's make it have a 25-foot ceiling just for fun. And also we'll throw in a bit of a terrain. Let's throw that on. That way we have some ground to work off of. And then we'll, actually I'm going to avoid a foundation right now. Let's make this snow. See if there's a material here for snow. There might be. If not, we'll just make it white or something simple. It looks like I don't have snow. I didn't think so. Let's see. Be nice to, though. If there's something with a bit of a texture to it, we can just make it white. Let's do that. Let's grab that sand. I'm going to make it white. That'll give it a bit of texture. Obviously, I'm not sitting here teaching how to use my software. That would take a lot longer than a little video, but just showing how this all builds out. Okay, so it kind of got snow, more or less, right? It's about there. We'll just make this huge. And we can add some depth or put it on a hill if we want to. For now, let's focus more on getting that building footprint in place. All right, so we threw up some snow real quick. And let's throw a backdrop on here too, just so you can see the ground a little bit better. Winterscapes. There we go. Look at that. Let's throw that in there just for fun. Okay. Now you can see the ground a little bit better. Sure. Not perfect. That's okay for now. All right, so we've got our little 25 or a 30 foot by 30 foot with the 25 ceiling. Before we touch the roof, we're going to kind of finish out the rest of the walls, the rough exterior. We're going to refer to this to kind of get a look. Now, what I'll often do is I'll actually grab a screenshot and trace it. That just makes it build out so much faster. So let's go ahead and throw this picture in here. Rotate it. Let's try to line it up a little bit here. All right. A couple ways of doing this. For simplicity's sake, we're just going to eyeball it. Normally what I'll do is I'll actually go in and grab precise angles to make sure that I'm lining it up perfect for your home, on your lot. But again, for now, we're just keeping it simple. Let's keep making it a little bit bigger. We're getting there, we're getting there. Okay, almost. So that's pretty darn close, but we remember those overhangs, right? We've got the pretty large, you know, that's still a bad picture. We've got some pretty long overhangs. So let's make sure we have the roof coming out like an extra, we'll say 3 feet, like I'd said earlier. So let's come in a little bit, grab that. How close is that? Not even close. We're almost there. A little bit bigger. Let's try this. This might be it. almost there. You know what, that's close enough. Let's stick with that. All right, so now, like I said, we're gonna have this side just branch straight out for simplicity's sake. Actually, as much as I'd prefer to do that to make this faster, I'm honestly not sure how well that would look. You know what, it's fine. Let's just do it. All right, we're coming straight out. I don't remember the dimension we said, so now that we got fairly close to the dimensions here, I can just dimension within my software. So we've got about, ooh, wrong button again. Keep turning the music off. We'll call it 35 feet, yeah. Of course, it's grabbing the wrong wall. And then how far is this distance, roughly? Got about, let's call it 45 feet, sure. Again, we're not actually building this place. We can make it simple. And this was the 35 feet we said? I already forgot. Yeah, 35. Okay. So we'll do that. Now this is going to come out an extra, call it 30 feet, just for fun. It's going to kick in 8 feet. Now we're going to go 28 feet. And then it's coming back in total. Yeah, we'll call it 24 feet, 25 feet, sure. Yeah, it doesn't look, I'm not entirely sure what this portion is. It looks like it might be a little bit of a shed overhang or just like a patio overhang on the back. We're going to stick with just this for now. It isn't perfectly centered, but it's close. I am going to center it. It'll look a little bit nicer. So we had 12 feet. I think we said, what, 8 on this side? Yeah, so we'll bring it back 2 feet here. Cool. All right, that'll center that. Oop, wrong one. Trying to get rid of the little measurement here that popped up. All right. Very cool. So now let's have this back part model out. Got about 30 feet again, we'll just call it. And it's the same width as the front bit, so let's go over that 30 feet. This was 30 feet. Let's make sure it's grabbing the right bit, so it's grabbing from the inside to the outside. So we're gonna have to add well, no, we should be good, yeah. All right, so now we've got a 30 by 30 back here. Let's make sure this part's still 30 by 30. It may be a little bit less. Looks like we're probably good. Something that I do run into a lot when people bring me drawings and they acknowledge it, it's not a problem, we fix it, but as they draw out layouts for their home that they want to go with, if we are working with very limited space, generally they don't really account for the thickness of walls. These walls right here, I have it drawn as 6 inches. Realistically, these could be a foot thick. And if they're that thick and there's 2 or 3 in a row, you just lost 2-3 feet on the size of your home. If we go back to normal dimensions, if it's 6 inches, same thing. You could easily lose a few feet of space if you're just sketching on graph paper because you weren't taking into account those wall thicknesses. So we often have to go in and tweak things further to make sure you still have enough room in that bathroom. You want it to be a small 5 by 8. Now all of a sudden it's a 4 by 8, right? So we make it a little bigger. Anyways, we're gonna have this come out at an angle like we talked about earlier. So this part is, oh, I know we said about 100 foot before. That's not even close here. We're gonna call it 80 feet. That's fine. This was, let's make sure we're still close. Yeah, close enough, it's fine. This one tucks back a little bit. So we'll go here to 80 feet. Let's give ourselves a good number to work off of right here. Let's have it kick back 5 feet total. You know what? It goes further, so let's go 7 feet. Oop. All right. Now the width of this whole thing's probably around that 30 mark again. Yeah, we'll just make it 30 feet. Remember, all this is just rough. We're just having fun. This is gonna come over 20 feet, and let's see how far out are we gonna come here. See, I don't like that. That's not even close. We're gonna come out another 5 feet here. Yeah, that's better. And right here we've got another 22 feet. Sure. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna take these and try to mirror it to the other side here. close. Not what I'm looking for exactly though. So how far of a distance do we have? 40, how does 45 feet? Nope, let's go 42. Yeah, that works. Sure, close enough, right? This wall is actually coming out a little bit more. Kind of an odd situation. Actually, so this follows, it is tricky to see here, but we can see that this pitch goes from here and stops here, and there's a slight change, and it goes to a lower pitch here over more of like a patio area, it looks like. It may be enclosed if they've got the AC up on top. Anyways, so we're gonna stick with this wall for now. We're gonna add a secondary one back here for that porch, or the patio. We're gonna have this come over all the way. Looks like this is a 2-leveled roof on the back side as well. This looks lower than here. So let's go ahead and bring this in a little bit. We'll come out 20 feet. Probably less, but that's okay. Definitely a bit of an odd roof structure here. Let's eyeball it. Let's just eyeball this. This back portion, we'll give it an angle as well. Keep wanting to give this part an angle too because of what's happening, but I want to keep it simple. All right. A little bit because of that overhang that's pretty huge. Kick, come over. Now this is going to be that, this might be that other from the video, the front picture. I think that's what this part is. I'm going off just some Google photos and whatnot, so I haven't been there. Pretty neat little place though. All right, let's straighten that out. All right, we're going to give this area all those cuts. Now, something that is going to help us is trying to follow the same distance for each of these walls. I'm going to do that here in a second. It'll be easier later. I know this roof is a little different than what I'm drawing exactly, but I'm just going to keep it that octagon or whatever this is. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Okay, not octagon. You know what? Let's bring this over a little bit. I'm going to continue this. Should make this a little bit easier. Oh boy, that's terrible. Again, I am trying to go a little quick on this. Normally I'm spending a lot more time with each of these dimensions and measurements just to make sure we're accurate. So I'm going to back up a little bit here. I'm going to make these all 15 feet. Even though that may not be accurate, I may end up changing this here in a second. Yeah, we're just going to do that. That's fine. Okay, let's break this. Move that wall out of the way for now so we can get this built out. Actually, how far was that? So, if I take this and just try to make it 15 feet, let's see if it'll, oh, perfect, it worked. All right, good. Let's do this same deal, 15 feet. Bring it over 15 feet. Nope. I didn't get enough. Yep. Funny. So an easier way for me to do this, I'm going to grab these and just flip it over the middle of this wall. Oh, it's not going to let me. All right, never mind. Going to be about as manual as it comes then, huh? Be honest with you, I don't think that's accurate. Pretty sure I'm doing most of this wrong. Okay, let's cheat. Like that. Look at that, I'm cheating. Perfect. Now, those are the same, supposedly. You know what? I'm taking a little bit too long on this, so. Let's just try to speed up a bit here. Just make sure these are both parallel. Yep, good. So now I'm gonna grab these and try to flip them. Actually, let's do my same little line trick. So I'm just copying the objects and rotating them about. central spot. So I want to make sure that we're about 15, or well, I guess 7.5 feet, right? Should be about centered. Okay. Let's see if this will work. I'm gonna try to take all of these and just rotate right about this center part. And that looks terrible. Huh. I know the angles did not seem to want to line up quite proper. Having it all at an angle definitely makes things a bit trickier. All right, let's go ahead and just skip this part for now. This is something I can do. I'm not terribly worried about that. I just know it's going to take me time. And we haven't even got to the fun part yet, working on the roof and whatnot. So let's just square that off and keep it simple on the back end. Okay, and then we've got this little overhang off the front. Just kick this out. Grab this and center it to that room. All right, actually, first let's see how wide this is, 25 feet. I like to work with pretty round numbers here. I'm not a big fan of working with fractions. It makes the work just go a little bit slower when I'm manually typing in dimensions. So, okay, we'll call that good for now. Let's look back at our little reference pictures. All right, so looks like about the same ceiling height for everything except for the front, which looks a little bit taller than the rest. I could be wrong, but let's just go with the front being 12 and the sides being 10 foot. So we're gonna take this, give it a 12 foot. I already have these others defaulted to a 10 foot, so I'll leave them for now. Okay, let me turn off my little intersection here. Okay, so, yeah, you know what? Sure, it's close enough, right? Let's go ahead and get some roofs thrown in real fast, why don't we? So now when we're figuring out that roof pitch, this is obviously just eyeballing. We're gonna say that's probably like a 412 pitch on the bottom. What I'll do is I'll eyeball it real quick like that, throw them in, and then compare. If it looks close, I'm happy. If it's off, then I'll adjust it. We're gonna give it a 30-inch overhang all the way around, keep the rest the same. And actually, real quick, let's see if we can change the roofing material. See if we need to. We could make it snowy. Let's leave it as is for right now. All right. Actually, we're gonna need to go do our roof plan. Let's throw these guys in. So you can see I'm throwing in go floor, throwing in the roof. Eyeballing this all real quick. So when I begin on projects, what I generally will do, for example, if we're doing a new build, most of the time, and really what I require from my clients is that they bring some ideas. Obviously, you're right, some stuff that they would like to copy. It's never exactly what they want to bring. Generally what happens is they'll look around online for some different designs or different floor plans they like. They'll bring that floor plan to me and say, we like this, but we want to make some adjustments. Very normal. That's what I prefer to get from clients. Once we have a list of things they'd like to adjust, then we'll dive in, spend some time making it exactly what they're looking for. So, for example, if they come to me and say, hey, we want to build Santa's workshop, we're doing something like this. First off, can't really build this in most places over here in the valley. First off, it's too tall. And most people aren't looking for a design like that. But if they brought me something like this, this is what we would do. I would build it out and say they're going to make a couple adjustments, like they didn't want to add that spiral or that whatever it is in the back here. I'll go ahead and draw it without that. So the first thing I do is exactly what I'm doing right now, is I'll go ahead and I'll take some dimensions from either the site online, the map, or dimensions that they've provided me, potentially. If they don't have dimensions at all, then we just start throwing them in and seeing what fits. So I've got obviously some ideas on what it's generally comfortable to live with, so we'll start with those. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out if we need to do much special with this roof line. It's pretty straightforward. So, yep, I'll look at these pictures just like this, kind of get a feel for what the layout's supposed to end up being. And we'll sketch it in. Once we have it sketched in, where did that go? There it is. Once we have it fully sketched in, at least the footprint of the home, And the roof line, we'll add in all the windows and the doors at the foundation. Generally, I don't add the roof until we have the floor plan completely worked out, because it does become a lot of work to have to adjust all the roof lines if the roof was tricky. And usually the roofs are pretty tricky. This one is obviously very simple, just all gabled. You don't get much simpler than this, but most of the time there's some complexity to it. And with that complexity comes even more complexity trying to fix things or adjust things after we've already drawn them. So I spend the time making sure that we get that floor plan completely dialed in. When I say the floor plan, I do mean the dimensions of the living space and just the exterior walls of the home, so that footprint. Once we have that dialed in, then we can work more on the roof. But until then, I much prefer to work on getting that floor plan perfect. All right, so this is gonna come out. It looks like it's centering right in the middle. I was trying to figure out if it was a taller ceiling in here. I don't think it is, just longer. So we'll go ahead and draw this over. I keep giving it those. I'm grabbing the edge of these roof planes. You can just faintly see the green dotted line. I'm grabbing those to go ahead and adjust the roof plane edges. I'm gonna also grayscale this and make it a little bit, hopefully easier to see what I'm doing. It didn't help all that much, so let's make it even whiter. There we go. Now you can see a little bit better, hopefully. Let's go ahead and turn on some thicknesses of these lines, make it easier for you to see as well. It may not have adjusted there. That's okay. If it doesn't work, it's fine. We're just so zoomed out. These thicker lines I'm trying to put in are not showing too thick. That's all right. Let's go ahead and take this, throw it on the other side here. All right. So we had that sort of stepped roof right here that I had pointed out earlier. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a lower pitch right there. And actually, just to back out real fast, make sure we've got about the roof pitch we were looking for. Seems about right. It is a lower pitch on that, but here it's different. I think we're about on. Yeah, we'll call it good. All right, so we're gonna give it a lower pitch over here because I'm not entirely sure what they were doing on the back end. It looks like it might actually be a lower ceiling height as well. So, actually, knowing that, let me bring this back to darker. Yeah, you know what? Let's do this. It does look like this is probably the same ceiling height as this, but if we... This is a funky cut right there as well. Let's square that off here. Whew. Hopefully everybody's been enjoying Christmas so far, just the holidays. Relaxing, I hope. Very needed at the end of the year. All right, so I'm actually gonna make this full ceiling height on this back end shorter. I'm gonna give it an 8-foot ceiling height, which may not work. I'm just gonna see what this looks like. I'm trying to get these roof lines to work a little bit better. Should probably fix that first here. That's also not gonna work quite yet. I'll show you here in a sec what happened. Yeah, hopefully everybody's enjoying some family time. I'm looking forward to taking it easy this weekend. I've got, of course we have Christmas, but it's also my anniversary. We were insane, and I wouldn't ever recommend doing what we did, but we got married on the 26th, 6 years ago this year. So getting married the day after Christmas, that, I don't know what we were thinking. We're happy and it all worked out clearly, but goodness, not the brightest move on the Ashby side. I don't know what we were doing. Okay, let's make sure the plate here is still at the 10-foot mark that we had. Yep, 10 foot, perfect. So I'm gonna make sure this is still at 8 foot because it looked like it tried to draw it still at 10 foot. I'm gonna come in a little bit here. There we go, that'll probably fix it. Yeah, that's better. It still looks like it is a lower slope, but because I dropped that, yeah, you know what, let's do that. We're gonna lower this pitch down to like a 212, just to make this a little bit easier to draw out. Cool. Alright, let's break this. Now you can see how thick those lines are coming in. Normally, when I'm working, I keep the lines like this. Probably pretty darn hard to see on the recording, especially because Facebook tends to chop the resolution pretty darn bad on videos for some reason. The YouTube upload should be a lot better, so if you are happening to watch along, first off, thank you. Second, go ahead and watch it on YouTube instead if you'd like to see a little bit better. YouTube should have it in full 1080p or 1440. I'm not sure what I'll be, I don't remember what I'm recording in exactly, but it'll be a lot easier to see. You know what, let's have this come over. Yeah, let's fix that. That is something that I wish I could figure out with Facebook, but it seems like the general consensus online when looking around too is that Facebook tends to just prioritize their money makers, of course, with video quality. So if your company's one that has thousands upon thousands, tens, hundreds of thousands plus of views, they'll allow you to have much higher quality videos uploaded. Otherwise, they don't care all too much about you. And so they'll make sure that your resolution is butchered to save space on their servers, which I understand. I'm not complaining much about it. I get it. But it would be nice to at least have the option to go in and change that. Because I would like to have these actually uploaded. And that's what's odd too, is they tend to upload in however they want. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but what I'll do is if I upload in 1080p, I'll go back and check it, it'll be in 720. Or if I just upload, right, and it was at 1080p, it'll just be in 720. But then I'll look at a video from 2 weeks prior and it's in 1080p and it was uploaded the same way. So that's odd. I don't know why they do that. Seems like a lot of people are kind of in the same boat. We don't understand why Facebook just changes the resolution willy-nilly or allows you to have whatever resolution they feel at the time. I don't know if it's something to do with their server space. It's interesting. So I'm trying to play with this a little bit. Again, this is a bit of a funky roofline, and so making this work is a lot easier said than done. I'm not a huge fan of... Now, actually first, I do like the look of varied rooflines. I'm like this, lots of stagger. I like this. Our personal home that I've been working on designing, I have been trying to do that with because I think it looks really nice. Now, drafting it, like doing what I'm doing, actually getting it done, building it, it's tricky and it can be pretty darn expensive to build. So if you are looking to try to cut cost a little bit on your build, I'd highly recommend evaluating that roof and keeping it. It doesn't have to be boring, right? It doesn't have to be, your house doesn't have to be a big rectangle with just a gable roof over the top. But I do recommend going through and keeping it as simple as possible without compromising the design. This type of complexity becomes expensive. I mean, at the end of the day, put yourself in the worker's shoes, in the framer's shoes. If you were up on top of that roof, you don't want to be on a real steep pitch. It's hard to stand on if it's a 12-12 pitch, right? You also probably don't want to have to deal with trying to figure out exact dimensions and angles if it's a 15-degree kick in a wall or whatnot. It's just a lot more work. It's harder. They're going to charge more for it. Money is time. So if you can keep it relatively simple to work on and work with, the price will usually reflect that. Okay, so still being complicated right here, I'm gonna go ahead and just have this roof probably extend over. I may end up just kind of giving up on some of this in a bit. I'll show you what I mean. I'm still trying to make this work though. This is a part here that is very boring, and I know most people really are not going to care for or care about. I'm kind of feeling that right now. So let's see how much longer I last. First up, let's see if this is even working or if I already broke it. Okay, it looks like we're okay. See if these are going to line up a little bit here. It's about what I figured would happen. Okay. Yeah, I tried to extend this all the way over because I wasn't sure where it's bearing, but I think it is bearing across a wall right there. Okay. Yep. Let's go back to simplicity a little bit here. I keep trying to go back and make it follow very closely their design, but every time I do that, I shoot myself in the foot a little bit and it doesn't line up proper. This isn't the design I would ever try to do here in the valley, at least. It's not very good for a residential design. Commercial, sure, I get. Commercial is not something I'm familiar with, though. It's not what I do. So to me, doing this, it doesn't make much sense, and I think it's an odd design choice. Again, that's my limited knowledge. All right. Just gonna shrink that down. This guy needs to be cut back. Let's just cut this in here. So we need these guys to connect. So this is a quick snapping tool. They'll grab to each other. Makes it a little crazy here, but I can cut this all back and hopefully it sort of works. This part's still an issue though. None of this is lining up properly. What happens if I didn't think they would want to snap together. Alrighty. Oh boy. Too many different roof lines. You know what? Let's go ahead and skip this. I'm definitely spending too much time on it. The video's already long and I was hoping to have most of the roof all done by now, and that part's tripping me up. So let's go ahead and just jump back to the fun part. Let's get to the front. All right. So we'll get just this back portion at least, so that's hidden. Let's make sure we've got a 10-foot wall plate. We want this to be a 412 pitch, because I did change that for the back. Right. Get that overhang. So I use multiple monitors as I'm working. I have 3 set up, which sure seems excessive at first, but what I normally have is on my main primary, the wider ultra-wide monitor, I'll keep chief as I'm working on projects. Here, I'll keep email or PDFs or something on one of the others, and on the other, on occasion, I'll actually keep this 3D model open on that model, or that monitor, and then I'll keep the 2D as I'm drafting here. So as I'm making the adjustments here, it's reflecting on the 3D, which is nice. I'm not gonna do that here on this video with y'all because it would end up sacrificing a lot of space on the screen. We're already a little limited with just the one monitor that you're looking at. So that's why I'm bouncing between the two. Okay, well, we'll keep the roof like this for now. It's fine. Let's go ahead and get this middle fun part built. Definitely an interesting roof here, no doubt about it. I'm gonna try something here. This may be another one of those things that I regret doing real quick, but I'm actually gonna build in a second floor for that upper part to try to cut out the hole that happens with this wall. We'll see if it actually works. Oh, that also might be why. I didn't think the roof was coming over enough. I wasn't looking. So what was happening? Oh, you know what? I see what happened. This roof plane, I had dragged past that wall, and so the roof was covering the wall and stopping it from going up further. So now I probably don't even need that second floor. Yeah, let's go ahead and just, let's delete that guy. I should still, nope. Okay, let's try this. Yeah, I reset its height. Yeah, see, now it's building up. Very cool. All right, a little bit easier. If I'm adding in a second floor, there tends to be more complexity added to the design here. And hey, at the end of the day, we don't do all that many 2-story customs. So let's go ahead and add in. It looks like it does use a lower pitch like the rest on the bottom. It's a little steeper actually. Hard to tell with the snow, of course, but it does look like it is steeper. Let's see what it looks like with a 612. Yeah, let's stick with that for now. It still might even be steeper than that, but let's just keep it easy. Looking forward to tomorrow. It's always a lot of fun with the kids. The kiddos have been obviously very, well, I guess my daughter's been very excited. Obviously, it's Christmas. My daughter is 4 years old. Mia. The other munchkin, Carson, a little bit older, still a little dude though. He is almost 18 months. So obviously he's not at the stage or the age of getting terribly excited about Christmas, Santa and all that, but it's always a ton of fun watching them dig into the presents or open them, right? A lot of fun. I remember when Mia was about this age, she was about 2 for Christmas. A little bit older. At that stage, I remember trying to convince my wife to just give her a box for Christmas. No, I'm not a terrible parent, but kids like boxes. It's hilarious. So a number of these got sort of messed up here. Oh boy. Yeah. I'm not sure what happened to these. The ceiling height on them, or their plate height where they're resting, I think either that changed or I didn't get them all to a 612. I think that's the problem. I didn't set these all to 612. Just that one side. I have no idea if that's going to help. Let's take a look real quick though. Closer, but I did select something wrong, which is why these guys aren't lining up too well. Odd. Okay. I apologize. We're going to go ahead and just do this again, because that's normally how my drafting goes. Usually a couple of tries with anything more complicated than a basic gable. The roof is definitely the most time-consuming part of any project, well, outside of the drafting. So when I say that, I really am more referring to the design side. So when we work on projects, we work in pretty much 2 phases, I guess is the easiest way to put that. We work on the design phase, then the drafting. So the design phase is the fun part. That's the part where the client wants to be most involved. That's where we're really coming up with how their home is going to look, of course, as the name implies. Now, the boring part is the drafting. That's generally when I'll go dark, is what I tell my clients. I kind of disappear for a week or 2 or a day, depends on the size of the project. And that's where I'll work on making sure that we can actually build what they're trying to build. So work on all the back end stuff, the stuff that the town wants to see, the stuff that's going to make it something that can be done and be permitted. That's the stuff that that really matters. So any home designer, or any homeowner, I should say, any person can design their own place to go and try to get permits for it. You don't have to have, to do what I do, you don't have to have any schooling. You don't have to have any certificates, any of that kind of stuff. You do have to, now, well, that being said, doesn't mean this is easy, that anybody can do it, right? This does take a lot of learning, a lot of know-how. You have to understand how homes are put together. And that's where the drafting comes into play. The details, making sure that all your connections are proper, that the home can actually be built. That's one of the things that does get a little bit tricky when I say we work on that footprint first of a home for any client. We spend all that time trying to get it nailed down. The hardest part about that is we can spend days, finally get that design squared away, client's happy with it, and then we have to go back and redo a handful of things because, well, that footprint they wanted, there's no way to actually make it work. The roof isn't going to line up, or the walls aren't going to be thick enough, or whatever it may be. Generally, it's a framing issue. It's just going to be real difficult to support everything, right? We're missing locations for the trusses to sit on. We're having to run it in extra girder trusses, or it often becomes more expensive to build what they're trying to do because they decided to move a wall in 2 feet. And at that point, I say, hey, add the extra square footage. You're going to save thousands upon thousands, if not tens of thousands, on the framing alone to make that change. All right, there we go. So I kept it about a 12-foot span in the middle. Now we've got that peak in the middle, and this is something kind of funky, not something clearly I've had to do. It's not normal. And I actually think it's more than that 12 foot, like I just said. It definitely looks a lot bigger than that, and it is. So we're gonna go corner to corner. It's about 14 feet. So we'll just bring this over just another foot. Yeah, sure, that'll work. We're eyeballing. Got to get moving. All right. So now, again, that's a pretty steep pitch. We're going to put it like a, I don't know, 16, 12 pitch just for fun. Let's see what happens here. I'm also going to make sure that the bottom of that new roof plane the same height as the top of the other roof plane. Looks like it is. Good. Lined up. It's a lot steeper than that, isn't it? Oh boy. All right. Let's go ahead and lock that baseline. Let's give it a 20. Closer. Let's go steeper. Can't say I've ever put a 24-12 pitch on anything before. That's closer. I'm gonna go even steeper. Why not? That could be too much. Let's stick with it. 28-12. Yeah. Let's see if I can make this work here. Let's rotate this at a 90. Copy. Perfect. Now we should have 4 kind of sticking into each other. Yep. So first off, kind of a cool look, right? Not what we're going for, so let's fix this. I'm telling the edges of these roof planes to line up with each other. So I'm saying, hey, you, red square, line up with the edge of this guy, and they'll snap together. All right, we'll come back to that guy in a sec. All right, let's come back into here then. Make this a little bit faster. Doesn't want to. It's fighting with me on a few of these points, but that's okay. We've got control. Should be pretty darn close right there. Yeah, look at that. That's not too bad. It looks like it may be steeper, but we'll stick with that for now. Kind of cool. All right. So we've got a fun little roof line there. We're getting closer. I mean, we've got a basic floor footprint down, right? It's not too bad. All right. Let's go ahead and open up this part right here. So this part gets a little bit tricky. Something that I mean, it's definitely a gripe I've got with Chief is it's pretty awful when it comes to patios and porches. We have to get a little bit creative to make it work properly, and that's more in reference to the foundation, how that builds out. I'm not too worried about that right now. All right. So we're gonna keep it simple here. Yeah. Let's open this up. Get rid of the newels. Don't need any rails for now. Let's just open it up entirely. Cool. Let's get rid of the flat ceiling in here. Open it up. Very cool. So again, we're keeping this simple. I'm not going to go in and start adding in all these beams, more than anything for time. It's already going long. So we're going to have this, I'm trying to see, let's go to beam. Yeah. Let's see if that actually built in a beam up there. It did. Kind of interesting that it opens up above right there. So because it does that, I'm just going to remove that and keep it open for now. All right, that's fine. And it looks like we've just got normal posts on the sides here. This is the type of project where I'd start adding in custom beams all on my own, actually drawn in beams and whatnot. That does take a lot of time, so we're going to skip that. Real style. Let's keep this open. Post a beam. Let's go ahead and space these guys out, because it looks like they just have, not quite like that either. Like this a little bit bigger. Let's see. Make it blurry. So they've got the one. Okay, it is cantilevered, which I thought it was, where it kind of sticks past these beams a little bit. That isn't something I can actually show here, which, again, another one of these gripes with these patios and porches from Chief is they do a very poor job allowing you to customize the placement of beams, or really those newels, those posts. So we'll keep it simple for now. Yeah, we'll keep it simple. They're pretty beefy though. We'll call it a 10-inch maybe. Yeah, why not? Let's make that beam the same at the top. Come on, buddy. Let's replace that. See if it'll let me put a round one up there, a little 10 by 10. There we go. Sure. Close enough. We'll keep it there for now. But normally it's actually going in and dropping in, and I'll show real briefly how that normally would work, because if I'm going to be cantilevering it a little bit, I'm going to take this, it didn't work, but I've drawn just a circle. Oh, good. Keeps grabbing that wall every time I try to click this dimension. All right, 10-inch. Let's center it across that wall. I'm going to take this, turn it into a solid object. We'll make it, I think it was, what, 12 feet we did in the front as well? Something like that, I don't remember. We'll change this to a wood. Let's just do a, sure, birch medium, all right, close enough. So you can see I added in my own post here. I'll take that and adjust a couple of things and make it fit, but we're gonna forego that for now. Move a little bit quicker. All right, so we just threw that in. We have the big entry doors, the doubles. Let's go ahead and hide this guy. I'm just gonna move it to the side. Sure. Yeah, so we'll add in, these are probably, I don't know, 6 foot wide, 8 foot tall, most likely. Let's go ahead and add in some glass panels, some French doors on the front. Looks like they're probably slider. Oh, they could be a French. It looks like there's a handle right there. Now, something I can do. Now, this isn't something I do for projects. This is so unnecessary, realistically, but I can go in and we'll make it an actual push. Or we'll do a little pull bar here on each of these. Oop. Come back up here. Sure, pull handle. Keep it simple. So it'll actually add that in, right? I can go in and change up the, looks like there's a casing here, a little 2-inch or so casing, so that's fine. Looks like it's actually black right there. So I can go in here, let's go to our materials, colors, generic colors, grays, go black. I can just paint those black. Oh. Wonder if I didn't actually change this to a, yep, panel. I messed up. Glass panel, there we go. So yeah, it's closer. So obviously that wood color, I'm gonna ignore that for right now. We've also got those transom windows up above that are the same size. So let's grab each of these, make sure they're spaced out pretty evenly. So let's make them 6 foot from each edge. Is it 6 foot? A little more than that. Let's put these 2 foot from each other and center them to the room. Closer, but they're even closer together. I don't know if they're quite a foot. They could be. No, let's stick with 18 for right now. All right. So we've got these. Let's add in some windows up above. I'm going to put one to the side here so we have something to work off of. The width is going to be that same 6 foot. We'll give it an 18-inch height. Make it a fixed. Were there any lights? Yep. So lights are just this essentially squares of glass, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see the little vertical lines cutting it up. So it's going to be 4 lights across, like that. And now we know that the other door next to it here is 8 foot tall. Looks like there's probably a foot in between. You know what? Knowing that, I think it is a foot. Let's put these a foot from each other. So it's a foot above the 8 foot, so we know the bottom of this window should be 9 foot. Let's take that, center it. Yeah, that looks close enough, right? That'll work. Not a fan of that. Let's just keep it like that, keep it simple for now. All right. It did have its own, it's a big mold unit. So let's grab that window, put it above this one. Now we're gonna grab all of these and group them together, see if this will work. It often doesn't with their spacing. Yeah. Doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but I'll have to mold these individually. Like that. Let's see if it'll allow me to change. So this is being nitpicky right here, not something I need to dive deep into, but I'm just gonna give it that same material, which should, yeah, there we go. That's what I was hoping for. Sure, close enough. Let's just leave that. So we do have these like log beams up above, which is why this will obviously look pretty darn different, very tight, but let's leave it for now. It also is using a stone. So let's go ahead here. Under manufacturer's catalog, there's a couple different manufacturers. They're basic designs that I tend to work off of. Cultured Stone. This company has some pretty good stone designs I like to throw in if we're trying to get a feel for a certain layout of stone. Stick with that for now. Yeah, let's leave that. I like that. That's not bad, right? That's what I thought was going to happen. I don't want it to build up above because that is still log. So that's where we're running into that issue with not using a second floor, so I can't change that upper material. So let's change that way, don't we? This may freak out the design a little bit. There we go. Just leave it like this for right now. All right. We're getting closer. We did see some windows up above, I believe. Yeah, so we've got big old windows across. Looks like right here it might even be a little walkout area. Looks like doors. Could be wrong. Let's just stick with putting some windows up top though. Keep it simple. Let's make these like a, I don't know, 6 foot by 6 foot for now. Fixed glass, there's a bunch of lights in it. We've got one 4 by 4, so 4 and 4. There we go. Drag it up. That's close. It's probably more a 5 by 5 though. Yeah, that looks good. Look at that. Whew. I'm just gonna go 3.5 feet. Oh, it goes a lot further over. All right, goes about to the edge. which it's not going to probably let me do because of this wall. Let's see if I can get it out of my way. Yeah, just putting in an attic wall, so essentially a wall up above here. Doesn't matter because we don't have anything there. Let's put this a foot from the edge. Yeah, that's about right. Cool. Let's copy this over here. It's probably less than a foot gap. Yeah, let's just keep it as a foot for now. I'm gonna take both these. I don't think it'll let me rotate here. Nope. So let's just copy them over. Put them. Actually, let's go. Of course, that wall's making things tricky for us. Next, gonna put these 6 inches from each other. Yeah, we're getting there. It's not perfect. It's close though. Ooh, wrong one. What I wanted to do, actually, let's go back, put that back here and just flip it. Yeah, I was trying to throw it up above. Let's go a little bit less. Close enough, right? That'll work. Then it had, looks like a door below. I'm just gonna put in a window though. Again, simplicity. All right, I don't actually know if it copied a window there. It did, good. It looks like they've got lights on one side and not the other. Probably 3 and 3. No, it's 2 on the right side, huh? There we go. Let's leave it like that. That's pretty close. It's still the black trim. Oh, it's like a wood trim on the inside of that. I know it's not this dark. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. We're gonna be wrapping it up here soon anyways. Definitely a bit of a long video. It's probably an hour already. Kind of cool though, it's coming together. Somewhat close. Enough where I'm all right with it. Let's go ahead and just throw in a, actually. So they do have this step space over here. I'm not gonna try to copy that. It would take me a lot more time to do proper, so we're gonna skip that right now. Let's go ahead and just add in a foundation. Okay. Just gonna put no floor under that front area for now. So this is what I'm talking about with it getting all sorts of messed up with these rails. Decided, hey, I'm just gonna throw in these bottom walls. There's nothing there telling it to do that, but it does it anyways. Is what it is. Let's make that floor lower though. That may help. May help. Let's also make sure we've got this brought up a little bit. Yeah, I was trying to get it below, but it messes up a couple of things here. Leave it there for now. Just for fun, we can do this. So I'm highlighting the exterior of the building, making it an elevation line that's going to be just as tall as the rest of the home. We need to change it a bit. Nope, perfect, that worked. I'm gonna, oh, may have those elevation lines turned off. Yep, turn that guy on here. Come on, buddy. Elevation line. So I wanted to bring this out a little bit here. I'll show you what I'm doing. Just gonna have it come out from the building just a hair. Now we can have sort of an elevated pad for the building. This is a very sloppy way of doing this. Trying to keep it simple. Sure. It's an easier way of doing this. Just draw my own. It's funny how often I tend to waste some time with things like that when it would have been a lot faster just to knock it out on my own. I'm actually going to bring this up a little bit, see if we can give a little bit of depth to that front porch. It may or may not work with those issues I was showing earlier, but we'll see. Do want it to kick in a little bit here, not much. Alright, so this I'm going to convert over to that elevation line like I did earlier. Nope, not a garden bed. 0, alright. So now we have this full outside part. I'm gonna change this. Actually, I'm not yet. I'm gonna add another elevation line here. We're gonna have step down a foot. Just curious to see what it does. Nothing. All right. Generally, the only time we'll end up messing with these sort of elevations, or changing the slope of the ground, there it goes, is if it is a home on a slope, obviously. I mean, no duh, right? But unlike a normal build, I don't really ever bother touching anything with elevations. It's a lot more headache than it's worth, a lot more time involved doing something like this than you'd want to spend on your project, most likely. Yeah, see, it's on a bit of a hill now. It is hard to see with the white. It deletes a lot of texture, of course. I'm actually gonna make it even lower. Then I'm gonna make another one a lot closer to here. Not sure if this will work well or not. Looks like this elevation line isn't wanting to quite do what it's supposed to. Let's go negative 4 feet. See if that helps a little bit. Yeah, as you can see, it's on now its own hill. We have that same frustrating little problem with these guys. Don't think it'll let me do that. Yeah. All right. I know this doesn't matter, but I'm tired of looking at the bottom of those. Let's just sketch these in really fast. Exactly what I said I wasn't going to do. find some wood real quick. Just for fun, let's see how that color is. Yeah, that'll work. Sure. Not quite the color we're going for, obviously. There's other ways I can change it real quick. I can literally grab this, make it more of a blonde. See, that looks pretty darn close. Looks like it's a little ways above. Go ahead and just throw it into the dirt or the snow. All right, much better. Yeah, sure. I'm not gonna throw in the rest of these. I'm just throwing in some posts real quick. Make it a bit better. I'm not gonna bother, well, you know what, why not? We're having some fun now with this. Let's go ahead and throw some stairs on. Do a little 4-foot landing on the front. Make sure it's centered here. Convert that to a little slab. Cool. Let's bring these in. Have it drop down a couple of inches. Actually, because of the slope, this should work well. Just leave some basic stairs on the front there. Let's have these drop down a bit. Look at that, that's kind of fun. All right. I'm not going to put in those railings. Got plenty of windows and whatnot all around. Kind of wanting to see some closer ups of those front doors. See if the video's got anything a little bit closer. Look at the walls. That's okay. So if you really wanted to go and change this to look like snow, you could do stuff like that. You could change these eaves just to look like wood. Won't be the most realistic thing in the world, but it's fun. Actually, the top didn't really get snow on it, right? It's a little bit hard to reach. It's more of a wood look anyways up top. Something I can do here, it's kind of fun. So if we grab this log siding, copy, we're going to rotate this so it'll run up like that. Yeah. Now you can't even see the house. Camo the Santa's workshop here. It's gonna throw snow on all of it. Why not? progress here. Just add the log underneath here. Why not? I've got it there too. Just keep it for these parts. We're gonna throw in some windows real quick. I'm actually gonna copy these upper windows, put them down lower, try to match the look they're going for here. Just throwing them in. Just add a little bit to it. Let's go ahead and just throw an extra set of doors here. Just for fun, right? Adds a little bit more to it. There you go. It's kind of fun. All right. Then if I do a little elevation here, you can see better that slope, right? It's on a mountain. Kind of cool. Very, very, very basic little copied design here. Obviously, I mean, we only spent about an hour throwing this out real quick, but still kind of neat. Fairly close to what they were doing here. Not perfect. Wasn't looking for perfect though either. I wanted it to be close enough to where it was fun. I think we accomplished that. Huh. Definitely doesn't want to, oh, there it goes. Got it. Okay. I'm actually gonna save this guy. Don't want to lose that. Kind of fun. Maybe next year or another time I expand a little bit on it. I'm gonna do something here that may break the computer. We'll take a look. Before I go that far. Right. Good. Perfect. Looks like my internet cut out. Glad I wasn't streaming this then. A little interesting. I'm not sure why that happened. All right, so what I'm going to do here. I don't want that. That's not wintry. Oh boy. All right, let's see what happens here. So this is the ray traced view. Looks very cool as it renders. It's very demanding on the computer though. My computer tends to have a bit of a heart attack when I try to do this, so let's see if it actually will work. It's also not nearly bright enough. as I'm recording, I've had issues with this crashing when I try to render this. Right. Well, close enough. Anyways, gives you a bit of an idea on what can be done with Chief. Again, Merry Christmas to everybody. Enjoy time with your family. Those that watch this, thanks for taking a peek. Kind of fun to see what we can do real quick within an hour or so. Anyways, everybody have a good one. Again, Merry Christmas. Enjoy your new year.